All in favor?
Aye. Certification of closed session. Pursuant to subsection 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia, 1950 as amended, each member of the Board of Supervisors upon roll call certifies that to the best of their knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters that were identified in the motions by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the Board of Supervisors. Any member of the Board of Supervisors who believes that there was a departure from the requirements shall state so prior to the vote, indicating the substance of that departure in his or her judgment has taken place. Are there any supervisors who believe that a departure has taken place? Being none, if you agree that the matters heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting were pursuant only to the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, please signify by saying yea or yes. Tim Lovelace.
Yes.
Luann Wallace.
Yes.
Carl Ray.
Yes.
David Eaton.
Yes.
Horace Christian.
Yes.
Steve Brady.
Yes.
Rebecca Dye.
Yes.
Ma'am, you have approval to return to regular session.
Thank you. All right, we will stand for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge, please. I pray, dear Lord, that you influence our decisions. You're our pillar of strength. We need your support throughout the day for giving us our strength and guidance. God, we need you to back our actions and decisions that surround us each and every day. Let positivity follow us and lead us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd like to amend the agenda to add another executive session at the end of right before where matters are presented before the board. It would be at the end of the request on the agenda.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
David? All those in favor? Aye. All right, now, our first thing of new business is the approval of the, Katie, you didn't have anything else you need to say, just that one thing, correct?
Yes, that's,
Okay.
you know, if any board members didn't have anything else, that was going to.
Madam Chair, may I ask, does the agenda need to be amended again to include anything, other business that we might need to conduct?
If that one would come out, I guess the executive session can.
I'll ask the attorney. Are we good with the agenda as amended?
The agenda, yes, there any action, you can also put any action needed for closed session, that would be,
Okay.
if you want to include that, just be more specific.
You don't need anything? Everybody's good with it as it is? All right. Okay, we'll amend it. We will have the amended agenda to add the end session of another executive session. All right, the first thing now we have is our new business. The first thing we have is an approval of the minutes. So that is for our regular September the 8th meeting. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
So moved.
Tim, do we have a second?
Second.
Carl? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Next item is the approval of our expenditures. Do we have a motion to take care of our expenditures from now?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Steve, do we have a second?
Second.
Lou? All those in favor of approving their expenditures?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Next item is their committee appointments for board consideration. The first one is Highway and Safety, and that is for Tim Lovelace for a 2-year term to begin October 1. Do we have a motion for this appointment?
I like the motion to, put Tim Lovelace back on the list.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Anyone else? Any other nominations? All right. All those in favor of Tim? Anyone opposed? All right. Next position is with the IDA, Jared Glass, a 4-year term.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we reselect Jared Glass for the position of a 4-year term at the Industrial Development Authority. He's representing my district, District 2.
All right. Do we have a second with that?
I'll second.
Morris? Do we have any other nominations?
Madam Chair, I'd like to nominate Nate Kaiser.
Do we have a second with that?
I'll second.
David. All right. Anyone else? Any other nominations? All right, we'll do these in reverse order. All those for Nate Kaiser. All right, 2, 3. All right, all those for Jared Glass. Mr. Glass will return to District 2. 4, 3. All right, we'll open the floor for citizens' comment. Was there anyone signed up for citizens' comment? All right, any folks on the floor? Any citizens' comment? Seeing none, we will close there. Constitutional officers. Seeing none. All right, next on their agenda is our county attorney reports and requests.
Okay, Chair. I think the first thing I've got to pull up on my screen, my document, is the user agreement for the Waste Management Authority. And this is something that, as the board knows, that we've been working on
If you pull your mic, there you go.
for an extended period of time and trying to get all the details put into place. I have reviewed the user agreement, and it has already been approved by the authority, Buchanan County and Dickinson County, and I'm satisfied with the terms. Basically, what we had to do was just put in there some clarification that even though this agreement would be subject to annual review by this board, we would be, they are subject to pre-existing contracts and agreements made with DEQ and other entities. So I am satisfied with that language, and so are all the other counties, so hopefully we can finally resolve this. So I'd be asking the board to approve the user agreement for the Cumberland Plateau Waste Management Authority.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the manpower and the user agreement.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Steve?
Discussion? Thank you. I just need some clarification when we're talking about the manpower agreement. And we have 3 employees or 2.5 employees. What, I have a question about that, because I keep getting that question asked back to me. And I didn't know. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Ms. Walsh.
So it says in here, and I don't have it marked, but I read it. Do we have 2.5 employees, or do we have 3 employees?
2.5 FTEs.
Pardon me?
2.5 FTEs.
Okay. Now, does the other counties have 3? Does anybody know that?
I do not.
Okay.
I have not heard.
Okay. I just wanted to know where we stood with employees, and since we're going to be using some kind of chopping machine next time, maybe.
Each county, it's up to the county administrator in each county as to how many people they choose to put at the transfer station. And I'm not sure how many Dickinson and Buchanan.
Okay,
Buchanan County, I think, they do mining.
fines or waste.
Yes, they do. I think they have 4, Dixon has, I think it's 2, and we have 2.5.
Okay. Just need clarification, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the user agreement as written? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
The next item under my reports are approval of 2 documents for a bond for the IDA, and I see Mr. Jones is here if he does want to speak to anything. I've reviewed the documents, and there's a resolution and a support agreement, and they are sufficient, and so I will submit them for your approval.
I'm doing the bond work. If I could answer if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, so we need a motion to approve this $1 million IDA tax exempt bond.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, David and
Second.
Steve. All right, any discussion?
Well, are we allowed to ask what this is? I don't mean to be silly, but I'm going to have somebody ask me when I walk out of here what I voted on.
This, the IDA was doing some improvements and modifications for the office that the sheriff's department is in, and another building, if I believe it's correct on that. We, in anticipation of this,
Put your mic up to you, I can understand what you're saying.
I'm sorry, or try to speak up loud. This bond is for the improvements that are being made to offices that are being used by the sheriff's department and another agency. And I think the total cost of those improvements was approximately $1 million. The IDA, a couple of months ago, and we've been discussing this financing for quite some time, and First Bank loaned them $500,000 as an interim financing so they could get on with the work back in midsummer or late summer. So I think part of that project is already complete. What this $1 million tax exempt bond does is it refinances the initial $500,000 that First Bank loaned the IDA, as well as the additional monies that's needed to complete that project. The Industrial Development Authority passed the resolution authorizing this loan on September the 10th. If you'd like to have a copy of that resolution, I have it. And this is just finalizing that transaction.
So it is for the sheriff's office and the renovations that's going on in this building, correct?
I believe that's correct, ma'am.
Any other comments, any other discussion? All right, we have a motion by David, second by Steve. All those in favor? Aye. Ms. Cady?
The last thing that I have, Madam Chair, is a revision to our revenue sharing agreement regarding Project Grow. We had previously approved this to reflect the revenue sharing agreement with the Tobacco Commission. After we approved that agreement, it's my understanding Haslam did meet, and they added one word for clarification to the revenue sharing agreement. They simply added that when we're defining that, when we're saying also 5% of the tax revenue shall be deducted from gross project revenue, that we put project tax revenues, because that's the way it's defined. And so that's how Haslam approved it. And I'd spoken with their attorney and also the attorney for Buchanan County and said that I did not object to making that one small revision. So I'm asking you all to approve that agreement with that one revision of adding more tax in that.
So you have a copy of that?
I brought a copy of what I had changed it to be. I saw that it was not attached to your agenda, but it's in the, when it discusses project revenues, under net project revenue, we had to add that provision. And I had written also 5% of the project, or the tax revenues shall be deducted from gross project revenue to be provided to the Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission and pursuant to the revenue sharing agreement. And he simply added in there and made it net project tax revenue because that's the way it read. It reads in the above definition.
So Katie, we've already passed this, it's just adding that.
It's just so that we all have the same agreement because
Yeah.
that's the way Caswell approved it. And I didn't have a problem with that modification. I'm the one that drafted the language and we met before they did and they added that and I didn't have a problem.
Based on the attorney's approval of this document, I'll make a motion, we go ahead and pass this.
Okay, David? Do we have a second?
Second.
Steve? Any further discussion? All in favor of just the rewording of this motion? Aye. Of this, I should say this resolution, this revenue sharing agreement.
I know we're already in the process of voting, but will we see a document, Katie, on this? Because we're just, I don't have anything before me, and I think that's fine. I'm comfortable, if you're comfortable, you're our guardian.
When we can get all of the signatures, and I did not verify with Mr. Moise, my understanding is that Buchanan County is going to take this too, because we spoke about that. I guess at the last meeting, we weren't aware that Caswell had approved the agreement that I had sent with a small change. So they're going to do that too. So when we can get all the signatures, I can forward that all to all of the board members. We had all previously passed the revenue sharing agreement back in March of this year, and then we had to change it due to the tobacco commission revenue sharing agreement that they sent. So just so we can all three counties would have the same exact agreement is why I'm asking you to make this modification. But we had all approved adding that addition to reflecting that 5% has to be paid back to the tobacco commission. So the only difference was they had an additional word that we did not have.
Thank you, Katie. Anything else? Did we finish?
That's all for me, Madam Chair.
All right, we finished. I'll finish voting. Lonzo, County Administrator reports and requests, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First on County Administrator reports and requests is of course, the Russo County CARES Fund financial summary. And on this summary is, of course, this is the CARES Fund that came down from the federal government through the state to assist us during the pandemic. These are a summary of the financials that we expended, but I'd like to hit up on some highlights, especially with this program and the things that we've been able to assist the community with. First of all, we have transferred over $800,000 to the towns to be able to help local businesses in their infrastructure. Also, in addition, we have, as far as the public facilities, we have expended on emergency and PP&E and decontamination equipment and safety modifications to the buildings of over $300,000. Another high point is we have also contributed over $110,000 to food pantries to be able to serve Russell County residents during this time of need. Also, another high point in our first responders, ones that we don't need to forget, on our fire and rescue, between the 5 rescue squads and the 8 fire departments, we have today contributed over $415,000 to them, to be able to assist them to be able to get their PP&E gear, get what they needed to respond to Russell County citizens in a timely manner. Tim Etsy, he is actually the Virginia Department of Emergency Management Regional Director, and he made the comment about Russell County. This was only 2 counties out of his 19 that was working so closely with our emergency management, Mr. Carl Ray and the squads and the fire departments to be able to, and of course, Jess Powers with our FEMA. We are attacking this from all ends, but he made the comment that Russell County citizens are well served. So, and next on the balance is right now to date, as of 10/1 of 2020, we have 1.54 million remaining, which I'll be asking here in a few minutes about more business grants. So, of course, that is one of the important things within the community. Next on the county administrator reports is,
Can I ask a question?
yes, sir.
I hate to interrupt you, just to stay on task with this one. I had asked a question about, I'd been approached by some of the rescue squads about turnout gear.
Yes.
And I know you were going to try to find out what Washington County and how they were being able to purchase the turnout gear. Is there a possibility that that could happen to meet in with the requirements, or is it not? My phone was ringing off the hook before I came in here. These guys, fire departments, and people were wanting to know. I know uniforms is
Yes.
classified, yes. Turnout gear, from my understanding, was not classified as PPE.
Well, what happened when this first came down, and we did a flurry of guidelines about every 2 weeks on what is eligible. And the federal government, they put these guidelines in place based off of CDC, FEMA, WHO, NIH, agencies of what is eligible, what is not eligible. When it first started off, as far as uniforms for the fire departments, because the fire departments don't answer as many calls as an ambulance does, their turnout gear, when they used it, was responded to, of course, fires, automobile wrecks, and assisted lifts. So that they had certain pieces of equipment on their turnout gear, like the face shields that were classified PPE, gloves and stuff like that. Since then, they have somewhat relaxed the rules, and we're working right now with the squads. They're classifying maybe the jackets and the pants, but not the boots, because you're supposed to be wearing covers and somewhat hazmat, suits, if it gets into that difficult. But you can't wear those during an accident or fire. So they're looking at possibility of jackets and pants.
Okay.
And we'll get back with the squad.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Next on county administrator reports is, of course, the Russell County Learning Center pilot program that's occurring up here next door. This was a partnership with the Russell County Board of Supervisors, the Russell County School Board, United Way, and the Southwest Virginia Workforce Development Board for a learning center for children, for parents during the school times. When this initiative first started out, and Tim can elaborate on it a little bit more, the K through 3 had not begun school back, so we were anticipating maybe 60 to 70 students. Since then, the K through 3 has returned to school, and we, right now, and I'll be providing y'all the numbers of we're into the mid-30s, providing teacher assistance on their days off and days on. So that's where we're currently on the Learning Center. So.
How many, I know Dr. Brown was here last time, he was going to accept applications.
He did.
Yeah.
What was the result?
Steve, they had 36 families reply, and that impacted 46 children. And let's see, he had 5 from the Castlewood area, and 31 wanted to be in the Lebanon area. That was his application. That's what he,
Didn't get any,
no, none from Homeacre, Soul Creek Givens area. And apparently, what he was telling me, because I called and asked him for clarification, is a lot of the parents either worked in Lebanon or they worked on in Abingdon and they dropped their children here. No one from Dank replied, no one from Cleveland replied, and apparently that seemed to be what the parents needed, is because of their work, this was a central location that they dropped them off, or the grandparents lived here, and then when the grandparents would come pick them up at the end of the school while the parents were still working in Abingdon. So that's the conversation we kind of had.
Well, a lot of my constituents, you know, I talk to them, they work in Richlands, Buchanan
Yeah.
County, and they cannot drive their children over here and then have the time to be able to come back and pick them up. That's the reason I felt like that an opportunity like this would more be fitted in our local districts for the convenience of it because of the working families. But, yeah, I heard there was only two, they had two today, two in attendance today. You know, but I would like to see if this would work, it would work for everybody in everybody's district more fluently.
That's why I was meeting with Dr. Brown, you know, getting in different districts like
Right.
that.
Right.
That's
Good
good.
idea.
I think one of the things that's been positive is children K through third get to go back 4 days a week, and your special needs children get to go 4 days a week, and that's helped parents.
Right.
And that's, you know, they need to be in school at Western Parks.
so that's our new, 4 days a week is our new school committee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wednesday, 10, correct, it's Wednesday today that they do
Wednesdays.
all their,
Yes.
all their,
No students attend on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
The teachers work.
Teachers work.
Any more questions? Comment?
We'd like to see them look at this. So obviously, with the numbers that we're seeing now, they're not going to use the whole $150,000.
No.
No.
So they have room, if they can check in some of these outlying areas like David was talking about.
Right.
If you had some sort of facility in the Unacre area, and, you know,
Well, it might
maybe
be-
get some more applications.
And we can put that in for consideration. Right now, as far as the funding for it, it's based off of what students they have. It's prorated, it's not for the whole 60 that they have projected or 70, it's based off of 30, and Dr. Brown, it's a reimbursement thing.
Sure.
Next on the county administrator, this is for the request. As everyone can see, if I had one of my screens up, these are businesses and towns that we had given to during this time. You know, the IDA, they had initially had 10 loans that we converted to grants for 10 businesses. Another 14 applications that the Russo County Board of Supervisors had approved for a total of $60,000. Again, we contributed to the fire and rescue squads of over $415,000, $110,000 to the food ministries. The town of Lebanon, which was the pass-through on how they've used their money into their businesses. Also, with the town of Homeacre, how they have passed in through their businesses within their boundaries and within the towns to be able to assist businesses. And tonight, as before the Board of Supervisors, we right now have 25 applications, well, a total of 25, 35, 38 applications that's before the Board of Supervisors, additional businesses to be able to approve. And this is the list that you see up on the screen here, and that's in your packet. That's highlighted as pending grants. These are the 25 applications for a total of $125,000, plus an additional farms that are listed for 13 applications, which is $65,000. I need a motion for approval based off of the eligibility of per the guidelines of the CARES applications and grants for the approval of the 25 business applications and the 13 farm applications.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? And this is contingent upon being, everything followed through with their tax forms, IDs, their bills being paid, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right.
Next up on the county administrator request is, of course, the Commonwealth Opportunity Fund. This is between the IDA, the Industrial Development Authority of Russell County, and Polycat, and the Virginia Economic Development Partnership Authority, VDP. The locality has been awarded a grant of and expects to receive $130,000 from the Commonwealth Development Opportunity Fund through the VDP for the purpose of inducing the company to purchase equipment, improve, and operate a manufacturing facility within the county, hereby making a significant capital investment in creating and maintaining a significant number of jobs through this. I need a motion for approval for the $130,000 that's eligible through the VDP grant.
So moved.
Second.
David, Carl, any discussion? All those in favor of accepting this money of $130,000? Aye. Anyone opposed? Also,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Next on the county administrator reports and requests is a resolution of support. This is the closing of Route 601 for Landside and repairs. I have put a copy of the location in this. This is a detour for a landslide and repair on Route 601, which is Hurricane Fork Road in Russell County. The Virginia Department of Transportation has deemed it necessary to close the portion of the Route 601 in Russell County for repair of the landslide. And the Russell County Board of Supervisors hereby concurs with the Virginia Department of Transportation decision to close the route from 601 to Route 621 to Route 625 through traffic from October the 6th, which is tomorrow, until repair of the landside is complete. I need a motion for support of the resolution support of closing of Route 601 for landslide repairs.
I'll make that motion.
Nicole, do we have a second?
Second.
Steve, any discussion?
I got a question here. On that alternative route for like emergency vehicles and stuff like that, if they need to get somebody in and out, do they have a plan in place? I didn't see.
That's given through actually the Mr. Ray's
Through the-
department through emergency operations management. Yes,
That's fine.
that's on any closure that we have. Yes, sir.
Carl made the motion, right? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying my football field.
Yes, sir.
Steve,
I'm
second.
fine.
And-
40 yards.
I'm on 40-yard line.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor of this repair, this closure? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Next on the county administrator request is a resolution of support for a single lane bridge. This is the VDOT project on Route 687 over the Dane Road. The Virginia Department of Transportation will replace the existing single lane bridge on Route 687, which is Roanoke Hill Road. The Virginia Department of Transportation intends to replace the existing single-lane bridge with another single-lane bridge. And therefore, it be resolved that the board hereby concurs with and supports the Virginia Department of Transportation's design of a single-lane bridge to replace the existing single-lane bridge on Route 687 Roanoke Hill Road. The reason this is a single route bridge is due to the span over Dane Road. That if on some of the specs and designs on it, they're trying to increase it for some pedestrian walking on the sides, and so they're looking through the designs to be able to accommodate that on Roanoke Hill. I need a motion for support of the resolution for a single-lane bridge on Route 687 Roanoke Hill Road.
Madam Chair, I offer a motion for a resolution of support for the Dane Bridge.
Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tim, any discussion?
I also would like to clarify now, Lonzo, so it's going to be wider than what it is now to accommodate for walking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
If their design can keep the weight and the replacement load down, they're wanting to accommodate that.
Okay, thank you.
I even asked for a bite, but they said I was stretching it, but.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you, ma'am. Next, on the county administrator reports and requests, this is a letter of resignation from Crystal White for the Russell County Planning Commission. I asked the board to table this if you don't care. She had contacted my office this afternoon to be able to see if she could now accommodate this due to her schedule changes and some conversations. So if you don't care, I ask you to table this until the next meeting.
Make a motion, we have a motion to table this.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Lou, do we have a
I'll second.
second?
Second.
Tim, all right, any further discussion? I do know that Kirby said he was going to try to be here tonight to discuss this.
He was supposed to be in. Yes,
Yep,
ma'am.
so he's not here. All right, all those in favor of tabling this? Anyone opposed?
I have a question on that. We got these surveyors, got these plaques that need to be signed off on. Are they going to still have to be put on hold until the city plays about this?
Right now, I've got 3 on my desk right now.
2 of them, Mr. Bailey's on it.
No, one,
He told me a week and a half ago, he had a couple.
I think those have already been passed to the planning commission. Yes,
At the last meeting.
yes. Crystal kept it up until the day that she did her resignation letter. I currently have 3, and one of the 3 is one of the projects that we are looking at and talking about tonight, but the other 2 is a residential and 1 is a farm. I got 3.
Will they have, give me up to date report?
Yes.
They should.
Yeah, and you should. We'll talk to Kirby about that. Yes, yes, sir. Ma'am, that concludes the county
Oh,
manager.
wait, no, you got number 8. You
Oh, I'm
left
sorry.
out,
Yes,
one more.
yes. I'm just trying to get through it. Next is, of course, the board supervisors, and we have been looking at, of course, with the pandemic, everyone knows with the CARES Act, et cetera, that we've been given to the community. Mr. Lovelace asked that if we look at the possibility for discretionary community funds. So as far as the CARES is restricted to what we can spend it on. We can make the building safe, we can do the PP&E for the community centers and the ball fields, but that's as far as we can take at that funding. We got to still stay within compliance no matter what type of facilities, whether it's the government center or a community center or a ball field or the courthouse. So we can't utilize that money to help out in any other way than this. And Ms. Lovelace asked if the possibility, if y'all would, during the last meeting, if for the distribution, given each board of supervisors a set amount of funds to be able to contribute to within their district, to be able to assist other businesses or nonprofits that doesn't meet the scope of what we have either appropriated to them or it's under the CARES Act. So this, as it states, is a discretionary community funds. It will be given to the board members to use within their district for certain projects that do not meet any other eligibility under the programs. So again, I'd leave it at the board's discretion on what to do. Of course, there's a lot of needs out there right now.
That would come out of the general budget.
Yes, sir. It will have to come out of the general funds.
Just need to refer to the budget committee.
And that's Tim and
All right, do you want me? We'll make a motion.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the discretionary funds in the amount of $5,000 per supervisor.
Do I get 6 times as much as they do, sometimes supervisors?
Mark Mitchell used to ask that same question.
Every at large always asks them to get a bigger share.
Well, I would need to help offset this next one.
You just got spread yours across bigger.
It is a legit question. It is.
So we have a motion by Tim, do we have a second?
Second.
Morris? I can't keep the
And
second.
Carl.
And Carl? Okay. All right, any discussion?
What's the budget committee say? We have the money to do that.
Lonzo? We do.
Right now, currently, as far as our collection and as far as what we have projection, we're on track. We're doing it at least a little bit better. Right now, if I look at the total budget, the $35,000 that y'all want to contribute to, that would not been able to assist in any other manners or any other funds, this would not be a material impact to the overall county budget. So therefore, it would be good utilizations within your own districts.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? All right. All right, and now, Katie, does Steve need to read your executive? Okay.
Are we ready to do that?
Yes, I
We good, Ernie?
Can we do matters presented between us and vote on it before we go back?
Well, there might be things that we need to discuss.
I didn't know how long these people wanted
Well,
to stay.
sorry, you never know.
I've only got 2 items, it's
You
just,
can, it's just you need to amend the agenda to move that back up.
Because see, we
You
put
can
that
amend
in.
the agenda, since you know, if there's any specific action items that you take coming out of executive session,
once we come out of executive session, Katie, once we come out, then matters presented from each one of our board members.
Yeah, you can do it then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss legal matters pursuant to section 2.2-3711A5 in reference to the Project Brown.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
David? All those in favor? And we'll go back into executive session. Do we have a second?
Second.
David? Lonzo? Read, please. Oh, I'm sorry, all those in favor of coming out? Aye. Did you, let me do that again. All those in favor of coming out of executive session? Aye. All right, Lonzo?
Certification in closed session. Pursuant to subsection 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, each member of the Board of Supervisors upon roll call certifies that to the best of their knowledge, only public business matters were lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters that were identified in the motions by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the Board of Supervisors. Any member of the Board of Supervisors who believes that there was a departure from the requirements shall state so prior to the vote, indicating the substance of the departure that in his or her judgment has taken place. Are there any supervisors who believe a departure has taken place? Since there is none, if you agree that the matters heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting were pursuant only to the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, please signify by saying yea or yes. Tim Lovelace.
Yes.
Glenn Wallace.
Yes.
Carl Ray.
Yes.
David Eaton.
Yes.
Horace Christian.
Yeah.
Steve Brady.
Yes.
Rebecca Dye.
Yes.
Ma'am, you have approved to return to regular session.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add 2 items. First would be a moral obligation for Project Brown, and second would be a do a resolution,
Resolution for unannounced
or
industry.
the resolution for Project Gemini,
Unannounced.
for an unannounced industry.
Madam Chair, I'd also like to make a motion to possibly hire special counsel.
All right, all those in favor of the amended agenda, is that what we need to do? Is that how we say it?
Only if you all want to.
If that don't mind first.
Yeah, technically, I guess we would need a second for Steve.
Okay, second,
I'll
I'm sorry, I
second.
thought I heard David say second.
I'll second Steve.
You gonna vote? Right here.
All right. Yep. All right, so all those in favor of the added items to our agenda? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, first, Steve. We'll discuss your,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we provide the moral obligation. Ernie, you had it was in our packet, right?
Correct.
That we authorize signature of the moral obligation for the project we're in.
I'll second.
Steve, David. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Anyone opposed?
Abstention, please. I don't think I have enough information from the town of St. Paul.
Okay, that will be, and that'll be 2 extensions, I'm gonna say that also, because we didn't get enough from some of the partners, environment studies. All right, so all those, we have 5 yeses and 2 abstaining. Any opposed? All right, second is the resolution. Steve.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Supervisors of Russell County, Virginia hereby agree to appropriate $1 million to a currently unannounced industrial project to be held for the purpose of giving unnamed industry a loan together with the additional project participant localities subject to the finalization of a revenue sharing agreement among the participants and the localities of the project.
I'll second.
So Steve, and second with David. Any
Yes, ma'am.
discussion? Any discussion? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Abstention, please.
All right, 5 yeses, and I'm willing to abstain also.
Madam Chair, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to have the proposed transactions and related contracts be reviewed by outside special counsel. These are very complicated transactions with many parts that need to be carefully reviewed before final commitment. I further propose that we engage the firm Gentry Locke as special counsel because we already have a connection with the firm and they are in close proximity and we already have this connection. To this extent that there aren't any procurement issues, I also move that we expedite this process. I also move that normal procurement procedures should be suspended for this engagement.
We have-
Would you please restate that? I can't have you.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. You might need to turn me up. Okay. I'm making a motion to have the proposed transactions and related contracts be reviewed by outside special counsel. These are very complicated transactions with many parts that need to be carefully reviewed before final commitment. I further propose that we engage the firm Gentry Locke as special counsel because we already have a connection with the firm. They are already in close proximity and we already have this connection. To this extent, there should not be any procurement issues. I also move that we expedite this process. I also move that normal procurement procedures should be suspended for this engagement.
For which project are you talking about? 2 projects.
Projects.
The 2 projects that we just voted.
Yes.
All right, so Lou made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right. All right, all those in favor
Quick
of
discussion.
discussion? Yes.
Is this something that you all can do, or, well, I think we need to ask if they're comfortable with this.
I mean, obviously, and again, I don't know that I really want to be giving too much advice as it relates to unannounced industry out here. There are some novel projects, but just my perspective, I don't know that, especially when we're working with other localities, such as was mentioned in the motion, I think you have to be careful bringing in people who are not familiar and have those relationships. I mean, if the board decides to do this, that's fine, but I feel uncomfortable discussing this in open session more than that at this point.
All right. All those in favor of this motion? Aye. Aye. Those opposed? Oh, all right, thank you. Anyone abstain? All right, anything else? All right. With all that said, are there any matters presented before the board? Oris, do you have anything you want to talk about?
No.
David?
Yes, ma'am. I just have a couple of things, please. I had Lonzo provide you all a bridge naming resolution template. I have been approached by quite a few veterans there in the Swords Creek area. The bridge there, that when you first turn into Miller Creek there, the concrete bridge, they have asked me to present to the board and we have got proposed, we're going to take some donations of it as far as having names erected on a particular sign in a piece of property there that's owned by a resident. But I want to get this bridge as a Veterans Memorial Bridge. They had talked to me about doing it as a particular military, but then after we have more discussion, we want to designate this bridge as a memorial bridge for all people that serve in this great nation. So I want to make a motion that we pass this resolution to ask, I'd like to ask the board to support me in this, to name that as a Veterans Memorial Bridge. There, the first bridge is you turn into Miller Creek. Y'all have that document there before you. And Lonzo has the information as far as location, route.
Something you need to know.
I'd like to make a motion that we pass this to name that as a Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Second.
Got a second?
So do we need to contact VDOT and ask them first?
I've
and bring it
already
back?
had a conversation with VDOT.
Do you want them to come back and talk to us next month, November?
Well, I need to get this approved first to present it to VDOT for approval.
Oh, okay. All right. All those in favor of naming this a Veterans Bridge at Miller Creek? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
I've got just one more thing. The senior league lights down on the field at Homeacre, there's a bunch of them out. I know the kids are not able to play, but they have asked me to request that maybe since, we have some downtime and stuff, if you could take a look at that, Lonzo.
Well, David, you've got discretionary
Well,
funds
that ain't
now,
my
so
issue,
you'll
that's
have.
Carl's.
Carl,
Can I'll make the motion that Carl pays? I knew, Mr. Chairman, you were going to say that. I was loaded and ready. Hey, and I need Oris's money.
one on each side, get them.
So if I can get Oris and Carl to back me on this, I need some lights. Well, no, thank you.
I'll have Terry to check.
One other thing, I had a lady that had called me and asked that if we could designate a day to support our police and first responders. Something that the county would enact as an appreciation for their services and what they do in our community, in our county. I said it'd be nice if we could have Sheriff Dye maybe attend, maybe the next meeting or something like that, and maybe if the board would consider taking this up and designating a particular day to ask people to put in a blue light and to support our law enforcement. They're really under attack in these days that we live in. It's hard to find them that want to have a job, that want to do this kind of work anymore. And I think that we absolutely need to show them that we support them and our first responders in the times that we're living in. But I won't even bring it for a motion. If Madam Chair Lady would want to look at a day or maybe a designated time or a day that you think would be good for us to do that, or maybe get with the county administrator and pick out a particular time that we could do a designation. But I would like to do something and maybe bring it up at the next meeting.
Okay.
And that's all I
We'll
have.
we'll get up with Steve and see what's.
All right, thank
what's
you.
needed.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Steve, you have anything, sir?
No, ma'am, I'm through.
Lou?
No, thank you, I know.
Carl? Tim?
No, ma'am.
Well, that being said, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn and set our next meeting. It will be, if I get my calendar to come up, oh gosh, November the 2nd.
I'll make that
Okay, do
motion.
we need to meet before then and have a special call? And you'll let us know?
There may be a need for a special call meeting, but
Make
there's
the
no.
motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I just see it.
All right, November the 2nd at, do you need an executive session for next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, at 5 o'clock here, so, all right, take a motion.
An hour and a half.
I don't know.
All right, have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
David, a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, November the 2nd.